This is Barry the Bear. He is by far the wealthiest creature in the entire forest, but you would never know it. He doesn't throw lavish parties. He doesn't own a fancy manor. His secret to wealth isn't exciting. In fact, it's boring. Pip the Gopher, now a successful businessman in his own right, was curious. He finally got an invitation to visit the legendary bear's burrow. He expected to see a vault of complex investments. Instead, Barry showed him his most prized possession. It was a simple, weathered piece of wood, a promissory note from the Forest Council. It didn't promise a share of profits. It didn't promise explosive growth. It just said, "We owe you." And to the bear, that was the most valuable thing in the world. How could this boring piece of wood be the key to such massive wealth? To understand, we must go back 1 month to a grand announcement from the wise badger. The Forest Council was launching its most ambitious project yet, the Great Irrigation System, a network of canals that would bring water to the dry parts of the forest. The project was brilliant. It promised to triple the forest's berry production, but it was incredibly expensive. It required 10,000 seeds. The council needed to raise money. Pip was ecstatic. This was another opportunity, just like the beaver's dam. He immediately wanted to invest and buy a share in the project, hoping for huge returns. But then he saw Barry the bear lumbering towards the wise badger. "Badger," the old bear grumbled, his voice low and deep, "your new project sounds risky. Too many things can go wrong. I don't want a piece of it." Pip was shocked. Was the richest animal in the forest passing up this incredible opportunity? "However," Barry continued, "the Forest Council is trustworthy. You always pay your debts. I will lend you 1,000 seeds for your project." The wise badger smiled. "And what do you want in return?" "I want a promise," Barry said, tapping a huge paw on the table. "In 5 years, you will return my 1,000 seeds plus a little extra for my trouble. Say 200 seeds. No more, no less. Just give me your official IOU." Later, a confused Pip asked the wise badger what had just happened. Why would he choose a tiny guaranteed profit over a potentially massive one? The badger sat Pip down. "Because you and Barry are playing two different games, Pip. You are playing the game of getting rich. Barry is playing the game of staying rich. When you bought a share in the beaver's dam, you became an owner. That is a stock. If the dam succeeded, your share became incredibly valuable. If it had failed, your share would have been worthless. High risk, high reward." Barry, the badger explained, didn't want to be an owner. He became a lender. He bought a bond. He doesn't care if the irrigation project makes 1,000,000 seeds or 0. The Forest Council has guaranteed they will pay him back. It is low risk and low reward. Pip watched over the next few years. His own investment in the irrigation project was a roller coaster. One year, there was a great harvest, and the value of his share skyrocketed. He felt like a genius. The next year, a drought hit. The canals ran dry, and the value of his share plummeted. He felt sick with worry. During all this time, Barry the bear did nothing. He slept. He ate honey. He didn't watch the market. He didn't care about the news. Once a year, a small pouch of seeds would arrive at his door. His coupon payment, the small interest the council paid him for the loan. It was small, but it always arrived, on time, no matter what. Finally, 5 years had passed. The wise badger arrived at Barry's burrow, pushing a large cart. On it were exactly 1,200 seeds. Barry the bear calmly counted his payment, nodded, and rolled the seeds into his massive vault. He hadn't tripled his money like Pip had done in his best year, but he also hadn't lost half of it like Pip had done in his worst year. He had simply and safely become a little bit richer. Pip finally understood. Stocks were like owning a fast, exciting, but unpredictable racehorse. Bonds were like owning a slow, boring, but incredibly reliable tortoise. And a truly wise investor probably needed both in their stable. But how could a small gopher possibly own a racehorse and a tortoise and a piece of the beaver's dam and a share of the beehive? It seemed like too much to manage. He was about to discover the single greatest invention for the small investor: the basket. Subscribe to Go for Business to learn about mutual funds and ETFs.